Great.
How's the
Well,
weekend?
great, great. So, yeah, we've coming up to spring here in Melbourne, Australia. So the weather's getting a little bit warmer. It wasn't as cold last night, which is good. So that's exciting. And looking forward to definitely this summer. But I wanted to thank everyone for jumping on the call this morning. And we're discussing a really interesting topic about, living healthy to 100. And as Dr. Curt posed in his question, what if you could live to 100, but you felt really fantastic? And in fact, Curt, I saw an article of a gentleman the other day who was, in fact, 100 years old and said he never felt better. And he had been doing some events, sporting events and stuff like that. And they asked him, about the keys to his longevity, and he shared them. And so, it's just such a fantastic topic. And just to give anyone some background information just about Dr. Curt and myself. So Dr. Curt has been with Sizzle since 2013. He's a doctor of chiropractic. He's a wellness consultant. He's run stem cell clinics. He's very, very, very knowledgeable in all things nutrition, supplementation, ingredients in that regard. He's helped some of his family members. His dad's just overcome cancer for the third time. His mother has overcome cancer. He supported them along the way. He himself had a motorcycle accident, was told he was never going to walk again, woke up on the road with his leg next to his ear, was in hospital for 6 months, had to stay awake in hospital because he was scared that they were going to kill him if he didn't stay awake. And he got through that, and they said he would never walk again. And now he enjoys long walks with his dog. He's lost a lot of weight in the last year or so. He's got his health right on track where it should be. And he walks the talk. He knows the information. He's highly skilled in the area. He knows the information. He walks the talk. And, he's helped me tremendously. I don't even think I would be here if it wasn't for Dr. Curt. I've managed to overcome 25 years of chronic back pain, thanks to his knowledge and information and support. More recently, I've overcome a potentially life-threatening situation, very serious. And thanks to the genetic information that Dr. Curt put me in contact with, which we've shared on calls before, I was able to sail through it. And I won't talk about that tonight, and I'll save that for another time. But, I cannot speak highly enough of Dr. Curt. And thanks to the information I've learned from him, my background's in health. I've done a degree in health promotion, and I've overcome many things personally myself with the information that we've learned, that I've learned from Curt, and also through these calls over the past, 10 years it's been Dr. Curt. So really just absolutely loaded full of gold nuggets. And if you're on the call, if you're listening to the recording, welcome. Grab a pen and paper, because Curt went out of his way to do some extra research for today's call to bring us some latest information on what's new in the field of health and anti-aging, longevity. And so really excited for this call today. And so I felt it really important to sort of give that background, Dr. Curt, because just to remind everyone that, the information we share is valuable. It does change lives. You've been able to help your family members, yourself. I've been able to help myself. And this is really, ultimately why we're here. Yes, we want to make money, but we want to also change lives and help people, don't we?
That's right. And who should be? Okay, perfect. Katie, thanks for the great introduction. And, it's funny. I run into people all the time. It's been almost 16 years since the accident happened.
Wow.
And I was out walking the dogs today, and I was thinking about it, my back pain today is better than it was even before the motorcycle accident. I've had back pain since I was in high school from a high school football injury, and I broke my back 2 years ago. And I really believe that it has to do with a lot of the products that I take, a lot of the things that I do as far as anti-aging. But you were talking about how you watched a video of someone who just turned 100 years old. The other night on our local TV station on WDAY, they interviewed a guy that lives north of here, about 3 hours. and he just turned 105. He was celebrating his 105th birthday,
Oh my
and and the TV station claims that he's the oldest working farmer in North America.
Wow.
105. He still runs his own farm,
Oh,
and guess what? He's a relative of mine.
really?
Yeah, yeah. It was
He's a
pretty
relative.
interesting. Yeah, it was pretty interesting to watch that, and then to realize that, holy cow, you know, here's one of my relatives, and on that side of the family, it's not uncommon to see a lot of the relatives on that side of the family live to be, you know, in their upper 90s or 100 years old or plus.
Wow. Wow.
Right. And
Yeah.
this guy, he still goes out and, I mean, he drives. He's still, I mean, you could tell that he was still mentally 100% there. He still goes out and hangs with his buddies, the ones that are still alive. And yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah. Wow. That is
Pretty
just
interesting.
absolutely incredible. That's
Yeah, and you were
fantastic.
talking about, you know, the stuff that I've done with my family. I have to make sure and say, you know, I can't make any medical
No,
claims as far as
absolutely.
like with my dad and my mom and everything like that. I can tell you all the things that I can tell you about myself because, you know, I have the right to my own opinion on myself. But
Right.
I can't say, you know, I cured my dad or I cured my
No.
mom or anything like that. All I can say is that if you look on the science on the products do help to optimize your health and they support better health. And as a result of that, you know, my folks would tell you that they're never going to quit taking the H pill. They're never going to quit taking, you know, Brain Vitality because they know that it's done something.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
know, but I watched that video the other day, that interview, that 105-year-old relative of mine, and it was interesting to watch it. But then, you know, I started thinking, you know, I wonder what the new science is on senolytics. You know,
Yeah.
because 2.5 years ago, when Tom introduced Stemolyic, our senolytic agent product that we have, Tom started sending me a lot of research. And I remember I'd get files and files and files. I was just talking to Tom Jr. today, and we were talking about, and I said, you know, I said, hey, your dad used to just send me files and files, and I mean, and I'd sit there, and one file would take me a week to go through it because he would just have so much information in there, and then he'd send me another file the next week because he wanted me to come down to Australia in 2020, in February 2020, when I came down there, and he wanted me to present the Stemolyic product. He wanted me to be the one because I remember Tom Sr. telling me, he said between, you know, Tom Jr. himself and myself, he said we were the ones that would understand it the most in the beginning because there was so much information. There was so much information. And he himself was going to be a speaker at the World Congress of Stem Cells later on in 2020. But then, of course, you know, we know what hit after that. You know, this virus thing hit, and all of a sudden, boom, that was all the attention. Everything was placed on that.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, like I was sharing with Tom Jr. today, that when we take a look in May of 2020, so I was down in Australia. I was presenting all the information on the Stemolyic product, but at the same time, we were having to shift gears, and Tom was shifting a lot of what he was talking about was talking about Body Shield, talking about you know, the influence, talking about Avenger, because there was ingredients in them that help boost your immune system, help support better immunity, which was really important in 2020 when we realized what happened. But in May of 2020, studies started coming out. Researchers were studying on how glycertin, actually, it's an extract that comes from onions and persimmon and apples and things like that. They were finding that the glycertin actually helped to suppress the virus, right? And
Right.
I don't want to make any claims, but I mean, really, I'm gonna just share an article with you here that I want to oh, let's see. Are you the host or am I the host?
I'm co-host. You're host. You're
Okay.
host on your phone though.
Okay.
I'll make
Hang
you
on.
co-host on your computer. I'll make you co-host on your computer. Let me see.
I have to somehow take back being host.
Host. Yeah, your host on your phone. You'll have to tap on your phone and apply the host to your other DocFizz profile, and that will make you host on your computer. So you just got to tap on the name. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where to do that.
Okay, you have to. Yeah, you got it. Because I could always share it because I'm. Oh, there you go.
There, I got it. Okay. So now I'm the host. So now I can share the screen. So I just want to share this screen here. Let's see. Okay. So can you see that all right?
It says it's starting to share the screen. No, it hasn't come up yet, and it'll probably be because of your bandwidth issue. It's still sharing. It says started.
Can you see that all right?
No, it hasn't come up yet. It says started sharing. Should do a new share on your computer.
Okay.
Select the first option, which is entire screen.
How about now?
No. You could, is it an article? Because you could drop it in the chat box. I can drop it in the chat box and I can share it.
It's a PubMed article.
Okay. Do you want to? The other way is just to go to your. It's because you're a bandwidth issue.
Holy cow! We've never had this kind of trouble.
Yeah. It's the internet connection's not powerful enough at the moment.
Okay, hang on. Well, I mean, on my end, it says that the screen share is there.
Yeah. It says started sharing, but it's black for me. I couldn't actually see anything.
Okay. Can you open this article up if I send it to you on the chat?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Share that one. I'm gonna send you a couple more. So
I'll do a share now. Let's have a look here. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah. I mean, I see it.
Oh, you just turned your sound on your computer. Now you got feedback.
Okay. I don't know how that happened.
Okay, you're good now. All right, so we've got that first article up.
Okay, so there's another article right after that.
Okay, sure.
All right, so you can hear me all right. So,
yeah.
It says anti-inflammatory potential of quercetin in the COVID-19 treatment. And if you look at the data when that was published, January 28th, 2021.
Yeah.
And there's just, if you look up quercetin in PubMed, I mean, this isn't all the articles, this just one. It just talks about quercetin in COVID-19. So they knew this way back in May of 2020, but yet how many doctors out there told people to start taking this product? They studied hundreds of different natural ingredients, and of the 100, they found that there were 17 that had a potential to help with this virus. And of the 17 that they studied, this quercetin was number one. It was the number one natural ingredient that they found could make a difference on this. Click on that next article, Katie.
Sure. Okay, let me do that.
I don't want to go through the whole thing. I just want to point out to people a couple of things, and then so then here's another article. This one's March of 2021.
Yeah.
And so there's another article that says that that it helps with that. And I'm going to send you another article here, Katie, that I want you to open up. If you can open that one up, and
can you see that one now?
Hang on, I'm grabbing another one yet
Okay,
that
cool.
I'm gonna send to you. So I just want to show you a couple of these. I'm not, you know, don't open the next one up, but here's
Sure.
another one. Senolytic effects of quercetin in a model of fat cells that induce this senescence. And if you look at the date of that study, December 1st, 2021, right? So Stemolyic came out. Tom was doing all his science in 2019, and the product came out in March of 2021. March or April of 2021, I can't remember, but or 2020. And then now here, 2021, all these studies are coming out on this ingredient, and I'm just trying to point out a couple things here. And then if you click on the next article,
Yep.
that one talks about Fisetin.
Yeah.
And you and I talked a lot about Fisetin, but if you look at the date of that one, November 2021, and Fisetin for COVID-19. And interesting about this study, Katie, for those people that are listening to the video now, or if you're listening to the recording of this, look that study up. It's really interesting. They're saying that they found in these skilled nursing homes. So this is the nursing homes where your grandma and grandpas are, maybe your parents, and you know, and they're suffering from heart disease and lung problems and decreased immunity and all that. And they go on to say that you know, the highest rate of death from this virus were the people that were in the nursing homes, and yet the highest rate of infection was actually outside the nursing home. And but they found that if they treated these people with Fisetin, they could actually lower their rate of dying.
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
I found that was very, very interesting. But yet, I never heard any doctor telling people to go on. This is really interesting. Click on that next article, Katie.
Yep.
And this one talks about people with diabetic macular edema. If you scroll down a little bit further, and I'm going to tell you where it is, right about there. No, go up just a little bit, and right there. So if you see that last paragraph on the screen right now, if you read that last sentence, it says this data represents important and exciting steps in validating the senolytic therapeutic concept. So they're actually suggesting, this is a new article, this just came out yesterday, and they're saying that they're looking for people to invest in this drug company because they're treating macular degeneration with senolytics.
Wow.
And Katie, so I'm going to grab one more thing that I just want to show people. No, I guess I don't have it here. I'm not going to take.
I can do.
Okay. But yeah, if you want to just, you can stop the share right now, and I'll just share with people. So basically, what they're saying is that with senolytics, we can reverse a lot of this heart disease and things like that. There's a new study that's being done in England right now. They're saying that they found that cardiovascular events, a lot of heart disease is triggered by senescence of the cardiac cells. And so these researchers over there are going to use quercetin to treat it.
Right.
Very interesting. And when you start looking at all this stuff, you start going to a lot of studies and you start looking at quercetin, the word, the clinic, Mayo Clinic is going to pop up a lot. And I'm sure you've all heard of Mayo Clinic, you know, up here, not too far from me. That's where my dad gets treated for cancer along with what I'm doing. And you know, they're doing studies on quercetin treating senescence. And so my whole point being, why did I want to bring this up when we're talking a lot about the age scale? Because we're talking a lot about anti-aging. How do you reverse the aging process? And what they're finding, a lot of what I would say is that they're starting to say the same thing that I used to say, the same thing that I still say to this day, is that if we treat aging as the disease, if we
Right.
treat aging as the disease, because aging isn't a disease, but if we treat aging as the disease, what we're going to find is that we can reverse some of these aging diseases like heart disease and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and macular degeneration and diabetes and lung disease and immune problems and things like that. So it's pretty interesting, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. And didn't the World Health Organization classify aging as a disease? Who was it that reclassified
Well,
it?
they did a number of years ago. That last time that I came down to Australia, they did put aging in as a conditional modifier as a disease. So like they would say that Katie has Parkinson, and it's partially triggered by aging. And that's how they use it. But aging isn't the primary disease. You can't just say, oh, Curt has heart disease because he's old.
Right.
You can use it as a modifier, but, and thank God, they haven't classified aging as a disease, because then we couldn't talk about aging on this recording either.
Oh yeah, of course. That would be a big, big, big problem.
It would be a big problem. Right. And so folks, the whole point being that, if the researchers are looking at this, and we started talking about, Tom Sr. and I started talking about it in 2019, 3 years ago, and he was going to be the speaker, the guest speaker at the World Congress of Stem Cells with this information. But then, of course, the virus hit and all that, and it changed everything. But, like I was telling Tom Jr., I said, this product, in my opinion, should be on the front. It should be on the front of everybody's mind. It should be right there. And it works so well with the age pill. And you and I and everybody on the team, we've been talking a lot about the age pill recently. We've been talking about doing a double dose like Tom Sr. told us to, if you were a car, Kate, if you were a car, I'd say we're flushing your system. Yeah. That's what we're doing with the age pill.
We are.
And then we take a look at we look at what Stemolyic does, and what Stemolyic does, again, relating it to a car. If you were a car, what I would say is that what we're doing with Stemolyic is we're taking out all the old worn out bearings in your motor, and we're putting brand new bearings in. So we're overhauling your motor. So we're using the age pill to flush everything out, and we're using Stemolyic to replace the old worn out bearings.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Two powerful combinations right there, Dr. Curt. And I can see Vicky just asked a question. Wasn't somebody trying to ban quercetin or something? Was there somebody trying to ban that, or is that just kind of hearsay?
Well, I haven't heard they tried to ban it, but what they're trying to do is they're, of course, like everything else, they're trying to come up with a man-made version of it. They're trying to come up with a man-made version of quercetin. I mean, they're even trying to come up with a man-made version of nicotinamide riboside and nicotinamide mononucleotide, which are, the two ingredients that really make the big difference with the age pill, right?
Yeah, and we've got the niacin and the niacinamide. The niacinamide is the non-flushing, and the niacin is the one that causes the niacin flush. And I'll mention it. And I thought, should I bring attention to it? And I thought, no, you know what? I'll keep this real and I'll keep this honest. I had 2 age pill. I haven't eaten breakfast. I got up late. I had 2 age pill before the call. I haven't drunk that much water today, and I can feel my face going all red on camera. and it's from the age pill. That's that niacin flush coming on, and I can feel all my blood circulation improving. That's why you get the redness in the face, and it doesn't happen to everyone, Curt. I know it doesn't happen to you, but what I've found is if you haven't eaten at all, especially in the morning, you leave a big long gap between eating food and then have it on that empty stomach. And now it's been like, I had it 45 minutes ago, and it's just coming on now because I haven't eaten. That you can have the niacin flush, but that has tremendous benefits in itself. The redness will dissipate in about 10 minutes. But that in itself has tremendous benefits too, doesn't it, Dr. Curt?
You bet. I remember, when the age pill came out 5 years ago, and I remember you and I were talking, and you said you were getting that flushing, and I'm like,
yeah.
Oh wow, what's that all about? And I started kind of trying to do some research, and there was a group of scientists at the time that actually said the flushing was good, that they liked to see their patients have that flushing, and the reason why and I haven't verified this, so folks, you know, if you're listening to this recording, if you're on the video right now, I mean, don't go saying, hey, Dr. Curt said this, but I am saying it. But you know, I haven't verified it. I haven't done my own research, but they said that they thought that what it was the body flushing out damaged cells that had been damaged by UV radiation.
Wow.
And that's what they claimed it was. Now,
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't heard anybody else say that, but
Right.
that was something that I remember reading 5 years ago. And we used to do the doctor's clinic call, and on that, I remember, you know, Andrea and I talked about that extensively.
Right. Okay. Well, that'd be good to find out that. But I noticed that it's been happening less and less, and I was having trouble even having one. But as today's is showing, that basically I've just left a 45-minute gap, which I normally wouldn't do. I would have eaten by now, so that wouldn't have happened. But anyway, interesting. I just thought I'd raise that. So, you know, it only lasts about in another 10 minutes, it'll be gone, and I just need to drink some water and that, which is fine. But yeah, I mean, it's just such a great product, Dr. Curt. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm doing the 12 a day at the moment. I think you're still doing the 12 a day.
I'm still doing 12 a day.
Yeah.
I just talked to a friend of mine down in Iowa today, and I know that, you know, Bonnie, she'll be listening to this recording. She's not on the call tonight, but she'll be listening to this recording later in the week. And she told me that she started taking just the 6 a day.
Right.
And she was having some issues with it. She said she couldn't handle it. And so she went off for 2 days. All of the issues went away.
Yeah.
And then she started up again, and she's only taking 2 a day, and she's not having any issues with 2 a day. So I said, well, stay on 2 a day for, you know, a couple of days, and then bump it up. And then just each time you hit that threshold, back off a little bit, and then just keep bumping it up until you get to that normal dosage, you know, to what you're at least taking in, like, you know, like Tom said, you know, I mean, we're all different. We're all wired a little bit different, and maybe, you know, some people might never be able to take the full 6 a day.
Yeah.
And then there's people like me. I've taken up 24 in a day just to see how many I could take.
Well,
and I didn't have any issues at all.
Wow. Okay. So that's, you know, it's different for everyone then. And that's where, you know, even for me, when I first started, I started on just 2 and, you know, and built up, as you said, you know, you just start on what you feel comfortable, and you can work your way up to a point where you feel comfortable and you're okay with it.
You bet. You know, and Katie, I know we like to share a couple testimonials. I've got a 15-year-old black lab. I'm Chewy. I mean, I'm sure most of you have heard me talking about my dog, my 15-year-old dog. I've got a new one now. I mean, he's 3 years old. So, but I have both of them taking the age pill. And Chewy and I and Bruiser, my 3-year-old, we go for a walk every day, and we're walking 2 to 3 miles every day. And I run into people, and they go, I mean, they can't believe that I'm out walking my 15-year-old dog, because they say, oh, most 15-year-old dogs are just laying around, barely moving, and ready to go to you know, to heaven. And and Chewy, I mean, before I started the call, he came over here, and he wanted to go outside. He saw some wildlife out in the yard, and he wanted to go out there and chase the other animals out of the yard. And you know, he still gets rambunctious, wants to go out and play fetch and things like that. And yeah, so I've got a 15-year-old dog that takes the H pill, and you know, I sprinkle it in his food every day.
Fantastic. It's just, you know,
We lost your video, Katie.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're just about finished there, haven't we, Dr. Curt? So we can wrap up the call. I mean, we could talk about this all day long, but you know, we try to keep it to 30 minutes so we don't take up too much time.
You bet. Well, let me sum up kind of what I said, and then if you want to add a few things. I mean, basically, folks, here's what we're saying is that, you know, I mean, if you listen to the science, real science, this is on PubMed. You didn't see me, you know, throwing any articles from any hooey dooey type of newspaper, anything like that. I mean, it came out of PubMed. It comes out of scientific magazine, peer-reviewed journals, and they're reporting that, you know, that they're using these natural ingredients to actually go after diseases. They're using natural ingredients to go after diseases, and they can make those claims. Right. They can make those claims. We can't, because our product has never been studied It's never been tested. And so we can't make those claims on our product. But we can sit here and we can throw these articles up and say, here's what they're doing with this ingredient. Guess what product has this ingredient? Well, you know, the age pill and Stemolyic. And, you know, as Tom Jr. said when he was on the call a couple of weeks ago, you know, I mean, here's two great products that really work good together. And with Stemolyic, you don't have to take it every day. Even the article that I read today, one of those 5 articles that we threw up on the screen today, it says on there that it can be used on a hit and miss type of basis where you can take it one day and then you don't have to take it again. They said that you could take it even a couple times a month and it's going to make a difference. Now,
Wow.
you know, Tom Jr. says take it two pills every other day, and you know, I mean, it's cheap enough. I mean, boy, for less than $50 a month, it's a product that can make a difference. And I'm gonna get my folks taking it. They aren't taking it right now, but after reading this new research that came out on it, Katie, I'm gonna have my folks taking it by the middle of next week.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to go have some breakfast and I'm going to take mine too and let the nice and flush die down and drink some water.
All right. Well, everybody have a great weekend. Let's have a great finish to the month. You know, go out there and share with people this information and you know, and really, you know, some people are going to come back and say, well, how do I know it's working? Well, you know, how do you know it's working? How do you know it's not working? You know, that's the question you want to ask is how do you know that's not working? Well, you know, if you get to be 105, like my distant relative, you know, I mean, and like that 100-year-old that Kim was talking about, you know, they didn't know they were going to live to be 100 years old, you know, but they just did things that all of a sudden here they are 105 years old. And they look back and go, well, here's what I did. You know, it must have made a difference. You know?
Yeah. Fantastic.
So, have a great weekend. Thank you, everyone.